Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jason Lanier. I'm a mirrorless shooter, and I'm here to tell you about why I think we're here on the verge of the future of photography. I switched to Sony from Nikon 5 years ago, and it was pretty well publicized when I did. And the last 5 years for me shooting Sony have been amazing. I've been able to work with the Sony team, and that's afforded me a lot of great friendships and partnerships that I'll cherish forever. And ever since I switched to Sony, the number one comment that I'll get back from people is, wait till Nikon and Canon have their full frame mirrorless. Well, it's been a long time coming. It hasn't come until today. Being that I made a video about when I switched from Nikon to Sony, I think it's only appropriate that I make a video now that Nikon has finally, after 5 years of waiting, they've entered into the mirrorless market. For the longest time, the thing that has always driven me is, how do the camera companies help us as photographers? Where's the benefit to us? Camera companies exist to make money. Photographers exist to make images. Anything that a camera company does that helps us to make better images, I'm a fan of. For the last 5, 6, whatever years, Sony really has had the run of the market. They have been the undisputed king of mirrorless cameras, especially full-frame mirrorless cameras. Canon and Nikon entering into the marketplace, and I know Nikon is entering in about 5 hours. Canon's coming, trust me. It only benefits us as photographers because it creates more competition. Now, whether or not their cameras are going to succeed, that's another question. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to focus on what I think Canon and Nikon need to do as full-frame mirrorless players if they want to be successful. When it comes to lenses, I'm going to try to make this simple. Sony didn't have many lenses when they first came out, full-frame lenses. They built a complete lineup of professional lenses on their mirrorless side. What they've never done is they've never really provided an option to adapt their A mount glass to their mirrorless lineup. There are options like the LAEA3 and the LAEA4 adapters by Sony, but those are old and they've never updated them. I wish they would. Because as of right now, you can adapt Canon glass to Sony mirrorless better than you can adapt Sony A mount glass to Sony mirrorless. It's been very difficult to adapt Nikon glass to Sony mirrorless, whereas Canon glass to Sony mirrorless is easy. So what remains to be seen is just how well Nikon can adapt their old F mount glass to the new Nikon mirrorless. If they can do that well, that is an enormous advantage for Nikon, if it can be done well. If they can't, if the Nikon glass acts and behaves like it does when you adapt it to Sony mirrorless, I think they're still going to miss the mark and they're going to disappoint a lot of people. The other thing that remains to be seen with the Nikon glass, is it going to be anything different than the standard options? Is it going to be anything that actually excites people? See, what I think people are going to want to see out of Nikon mirrorless is it something that people are buzzing about? Is it exciting? Is it sexy? That's the truth. Because Sony's owned this marketplace and this discussion for so many years, Nikon needs to do something big. Their cameras need to do something exciting. There's been a lack of excitement for Nikon and Canon gear over the last 4 or 5 years. That's just the truth. That's not a knock. It's the truth. If Nikon wants to do well with this, they need to excite the marketplace. Second thing is price. What's the price going to be on these things? Is it going to be comparable to Sony gear? Is it going to be better? Is it going to be more expensive? Will the new Nikon mirrorless be more of an all-around option, or is it going to be more of a specialty option? That's going to be very interesting to see. My take is they should come out with a camera that appeals to the marketplace as a whole, kind of like the A7 III, and then they come out with a specialty camera that really excites people. How's the autofocus going to work? Is it fast? What are the focus points? Does it cover the entire sensor? How well does it perform? How well does it track? What's the ISO like? Are we going to get the crazy ISOs that we see out of the Sony cameras? Size and ergonomics, that's certainly something that Sony has had to address over the years. From their first iteration with the A6000 until now, they've come a long way with their size and ergonomics. Can Nikon learn from that? Can they make it better? What about weatherproofing? I know that's something a lot of people have spoken about with mirrorless cameras for a long time. I'm very curious to see that. I would love for Sony to come out with a bad boy, tough guy mirrorless camera that you can almost submerge. Be interesting to see what Nikon does. Dual card slots. Battery life. What's it going to be like? In-body image stabilization. I'm very curious to see if the Nikon Mirrorless has that. Why? It's not only important for taking images, it's important for video work. It's been instrumental for me and my crew to be able to just handhold the cameras. It's also going to be very helpful if Nikon does that and wants to adapt their lenses. I would imagine that for the adapted glass, like it is with Sony, having the ability to stabilize lenses that may or may not have vibration reduction or lens stabilization or image stabilization, whatever it is, I know that that's highly beneficial for me and my work and a lot of photographers out there. Now, speaking of video, are they going to be 4K? What are the frame rates? What are the bit rates? What are they going to come in at? Are they going to give us what you would want in a camera fitting to film? I think more than anything what I want to see is it matching what Sony does? Because I don't think matching's enough. And the reason I say that is because it's well stated and well documented that Sony moves very quickly. They think more like a cell phone company than they do a camera company. They update quickly. They're used to like a 1-2 year cycle of updates. Nikon and Canon in the past have been stuck on an older thought process of let's update a camera every 3 or 4 years. I just don't think that works in today's day and age. If Nikon and Canon are going to be successful, they have to start thinking like technology companies, not just camera companies. I think that that's incredibly important. See, you can't just come out and match what Sony does. You have to beat them, because Sony is going to see what they bring out, and you better believe Sony's already preparing new cameras. But again, that leads me back to the original point of this video. It's like that commercial, when banks compete, you win. I feel the same way as a photographer. When camera companies compete, we win. We as the photographers win. And that's why I'm very excited to see what the future holds. I firmly believed for a long time, for many years, that DSLRs were going to go the way of film. There's always going to be a market for them, but slowly but surely they'll fade out. I believe mirrorless is the future. I believe it's the present. In regards to who's the first to announce a full-frame mirrorless, Nikon or Canon, Nikon's going to have the advantage because of the fact that they're announcing before Canon. Canon's going to have the advantage to see how people respond to Nikon's offerings. The real pin that holds all of this together is that adapted glass, in my opinion. I just don't think Nikon and Canon have the advantage of being able to wait 3 or 4 years to come out with a full lineup of mirrorless lenses. I think they've lost too much marketplace and too much steam and too much excitement to Sony by waiting all these years. I really do. But if they can come out with these adapters that really adapt the lens as well, I think that that's going to be very beneficial for them. And I'm curious to see how all of it shakes out. I'm curious to see how well these cameras work. I haven't vacillated. I switched 5 years ago, and I've stayed switched. I haven't gone back and forth. I haven't tried different systems. I've stayed true. I am a firm believer in mirrorless, and I'm very excited to see where this mirrorless shake-up leads all of us. So please let me know what questions you have. Don't forget to check out the video that I'm going to be releasing tomorrow after the announcement to see how it stacks up to this and to see if Nikon actually did something game-changing. So until next time, keep shooting, never give up on your dreams, find a gear that works for you, and remember, you only have one chance to get it right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Oh, hey, you guys still there? Hello? Talking to you. Really, you're still there? That's awesome, guys, thanks. If you want to continue this learning online, go to patreon.com/JasonLanier and you can learn alongside me. You can watch my screens, you can edit with me, do all of it from anywhere in the world on any computer, guys. It's the best way to learn if you can't make it to a workshop. If you're crazy and you want to see me in person and you're ready for it, then go to www.jasonlanier.com/register. You can find a workshop near you and we will have an absolute blast together. It's about inspiration, it's about photography, it's about life, and it's about finding the passion in all of them. So again, guys, if you want to learn online, if you can't make it to something in person, patreon.com/JasonLanierPhotography. And if you want to learn in person, jasonlanier.com/register. Now, the last time I did this, let me see. I'll just do it with my finger this time. I love doing that. It just pisses off the pros. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.